Pioneering surf parks took 10 years to go from pipe dream to paying customers. 10 years! How can digging a hole, filling it with water, agitating that water, and asking people for money be so incredibly complicated? Today's wave pool projects get done on a much shorter timeline, thanks to lessons learned from those early adopters in the space. In Wave Pool Mag sessions, we hear from the brightest minds in the business. Everything's on the table topic-wise, from choosing a tech provider to maximizing food and beverage revenue, and more. So join us for Wave Pool Mag sessions. Okay, welcome to Wave Pool Mag Friday sessions. Really excited about this episode. We are talking today about AI video systems and how they enhance the surf park experience for customers and as a revenue generator for operators. My guests today are Sean Young, Ross Garrett, and Luke Wallace, all from 3 different respective companies within the space. That having 3 companies in the space kind of shows you what's going on. Like, this is a big deal. This is happening, and everyone wants to get their product in there. So let's start off introducing ourselves. Let's start with you, Sean.
Hi, and great to be here, Brian and Ross, Luke. Looking forward to the session. I'm head of development projects at Wavegarden, so I'm more responsible for our projects in the development phase. I'm not an engineer, so although I'm on this podcast to talk about Check My Surf, my focus on that is primarily more on the commercial side and the sort of customer satisfaction and journey side of that process. But I'll do my best to answer the technical questions as well, as much as I can. I'm delighted to be here and looking forward to that conversation.
Thanks for joining us, Sean. And Ross, let's hear from you about Surfline and what you have going on in the wave pool game.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Ross Garrett, CEO at Surfline. For people who aren't familiar with Surfline, we're a 35-year-old company rooted in telling people when and where to go surfing. We launched our first webcam in 1996, which is just about 30 years ago. And fast forward to today, we've got 1,000 cameras streaming from 26 different countries around the world, collecting live footage, but also, of course, collecting rewinds that people are able to access after they go surfing. A couple of things about Surfline. We've got a 6 million person audience when we include social, 3.5 million MAU, growing at about a 15% CAGR. And Surfline users engage a lot with the product. Generally about 20 days per month, often multiple times per day. So it's what we call the surfer cycle. They wake up, check the surf, go surfing, get the rewinds, come home, share the rewinds, get excited about going surfing again, and on and on. And that's a loop that we really try and lean into and reinforce. We launched the rewinds product about 10 years ago, and I'm sure we'll get into that in detail. But we've been in the rewinds game for a while. Most recently, we launched a thing called Smart Cameras, which takes AI and cuts your ridden waves into individual clips and helps people get access to those. And we're continuing to build on that. From a business model perspective, we are primarily a consumer subscription company. But having said that, we also have a partnerships and advertising business. Clients from the WSL to really every major surf brand in the space that wants to get their product and their brand in front of surfers. So we think that's particularly germane for the wave pool space, where people are going to be looking for guidance on which pools to attend and which ones are of value. And then the kind of last thing I'll say on that is, because we know when the surf is good, we also know when the surf is not good, which positions us to help people understand when they should be booking sessions at wave pools. So we think we have a lot to offer the space, and excited to continue to deliver that and increase what we're doing.
Great. Thank you, Ross. And finally, Luke Wallace in Australia, who runs the Flowstate system. Tell us about that, Luke.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I'm Luke Wallace, founder, CEO of Flowstate, and we're based out of Melbourne, Australia. And we've created a platform really based around computer vision technology that's designed to completely automate content capture, and enabling athletes and surfers to capture the moment, relive the moment, and share that experience with friends in both a local and global community. We're a startup. We're a small team of about 15 people, largely based out of Melbourne. And myself and my co-founders have previously worked together. So I've managed to recruit a bunch of guys from big enterprise software companies, and sort of bring that experience of working in great customer experience software, and bring this to the sport of surfing and wave pools, which was born out of my own experience from being lucky to have a wave pool open up in my backyard, really, and having Urban Surf Melbourne become my new local surf spot. And from going there every single week and having surfed at Urban Surf probably 400 times in the last couple of years. From that user experience, you could sort of see the opportunities that were there to do this, and the need and the want, and just the plethora of cameras that were springing up on the shoreline. You could see that people were wanting to capture themselves surf, and we went about automating that and turning it into a pretty cool product. So excited to talk more about this today. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Glad to hear you're a fan of Wavegarden then, Luke. 400 visits to Wavegarden. That's great.
I've surfed most of them around the world. It's a great wave, but they're all different, which I think is the great thing. I think most interestingly, obviously Sydney and Melbourne, the first operator to operate 2 Wavegarden pools, and they're both different. I don't. You could make the same one if you wanted to, which is a good thing, right? Because people are going to be traveling around the world all the time to go and surf the new different pools, and from Brazil to the UK and Europe, here in Australia, they're all a bit different, and I think that's an amazing thing there. We're now living in the future where we're going to travel and surf in wave pools, which is pretty awesome.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's shift now to, I'd like for each of you to explain your technology, how it works. So even though we use the term AI video capture, it's very different how that is captured and how that's calibrated and works within a wave pool setting. So let's go ahead and start with you, Sean.
Right. So our system is called Check My Surf. I think what's maybe perhaps a little bit different is the origin of our system, in that because Wavegarden primarily is, delivering the wave machine that's creating the waves at our facilities, the background and the origin of it was actually we wanted to create something that was going to be the eyes of our wave machine. We wanted to be able to see the waves and see how surfers were surfing those waves, investigate the wave menu a little bit more, improve our waves through getting that constant feedback from cameras that we would have, and have access to see the waves everywhere around the world at our facilities. And so that was the origin of it. It wasn't necessarily we're going to make a system that is going to be for the end user. But very quickly we started to realize the value of it for the surfer themselves in terms of providing them with feedback on their surfing. Then we started to do a lot of detail work with coaching on that. And then we started obviously to look at the potential for the operators themselves. And then there was the obvious one of safety as well, the ability of the camera to automatically pick up something that was unusual happening in the water, and perhaps then giving an early alert to the lifeguard. So that was the sort of the origin of it. But I'm sure, like our other 2 systems here, it's very much based on computer vision, which is a field within AI with, machine learning and neural networks, sort of using computers that they will, teach themselves and derive meaningful information from images and videos and other visual inputs. Our system has 3 core components. It has the object tracking, so to capture each surfer on each wave. It has the biomechanics, so that you can analyze how people are moving on that, and then potentially through coaches provide feedback so that surfers can improve. And then the third component for us is the facial recognition to support privacy, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about, and then the future personalization of surf sessions and coaching. With regards to the customer journey, for us, our system has been designed to integrate into the operator's website. So rather than Wavegarden running its own business of Check My Surf and having its own website. The Check My Surf site system is integrated into the owners and operators website so that they control the data of the user data. They do the invoicing and so on. And we felt that that was something that a number of our partners wanted themselves to retain control and have control of that. And then finally, I would say our system is certainly the only one that is actually directly linked to the wave making machine. And that has a significant number of specific advantages that I think are quite interesting in terms of how we can link the cameras, the video system to the wave machine, provide feedback and potentially change and adapt waves to react to what's happening within the water. So that's a good summary.
Yeah. Good summary. Thank you, Sean. And Ross, can you explain Surfline's system? I haven't seen it yet. Can you tell us how it applies in wave pools?
Yeah, sure. I think the place to start is kind of back in the ocean. So as I mentioned, 1,000 streaming cameras around the world, 26 countries, delivering a rewind experience. And we've been doing the rewind side for over a decade. And heretofore, it's just been a super manual process where people just go in and they download a 10-minute segment and then they use their whatever editing software they want to cut the clip. And then about 6 years ago, we launched a thing called Surfline Sessions. And what Surfline Sessions does is it uses a wearable, Apple Watch. We've also partnered with Garmin and Rip Curl on their Search GPS watch. And it takes the accelerometer data and applies that against a video time code and then automatically cuts a clip for a user. So when they get back to the parking lot from the surf session, they've got a list of videos right there ready to go for them. And then most recently on this journey, we've launched Smart Cam. So using computer vision to auto detect ridden waves and curate a list of those for users to access within the Surfline ecosystem. It's a really hard challenge. It's a harder challenge, I should say, in the ocean environment where our cameras are further away. The angles are often irregular versus a wave pool where you can kind of put the cameras where you want them, get them close to the action, control the lighting and angles. We're dealing with sea spray and all kinds of other factors in delivering that AI-based clip experience in the ocean. So we're really bullish about bringing that to the pool. It's not yet in the pool, but it's coming. And we expect to launch that by the end of this year. And then that will be available for Surfline subscribers. And then following that, we will launch bespoke monetization, which is the ability to purchase clips on top of that using a technique for playlisting individuals so that they can buy clips of themselves. So that's kind of where we are on the journey. I think what I would mention there is we're really confident in our ability to deliver it. We've got 105 people in the company, 35 of them in the engineering department, 7 data scientists. We're really experienced with computer vision and AI, and so it's not a technological hurdle we can't overcome. It's just a matter of timing on the roadmap. So we're excited to deliver it.
Excellent. Thank you, Ross. And Luke, tell us about your technology and how it works.
Yes, so the Flowstate platform has been designed, as I mentioned before, this whole concept came from being a regular surfer who surfs the pool week in, week out. So, we really thought about that customer experience and how surfers are interacting with the pool, both on a regular basis and on a casual basis. So we've created this platform that was based around computer vision and try to create a really seamless experience for both the operator and the surfer. We thought about this like a social network as well, like a community platform. I think that's one thing that all pool operators are really trying to do, in that they are trying to build and grow these communities, having gone and spent millions and millions of dollars in building these facilities. So we've got about building this platform whereby it's designed for both the operator, it's designed specifically for the surfer, so that they can relive that moment, and again, using our playlist functionality to create own playlist, their custom playlist, to be able to follow their friends, comment, like, and share. We're really leading into that community aspect. But again, being a tool specifically for B2B operators, our whole admin panel is something that we're really big on, in enabling the wave pool operators to be able to manage their own Flowstate zone, to be able to manage their content, and manage their promotions, manage their staff, and manage the operational side of things. So yes, obviously we do naturally think about the content and the sale of content for surfers, and this being a revenue generating product. But it's also, as Ron was alluding to before, it's also very handy on the operational side of things, as and when there are incidents in the pool, and being able to monitor those issues and being able to have that on film. So, you have that record. So, platform is being designed so that it's going to be, really well used for both the operators, for the surfers, and we're now operating in 5 pools, soon to be 7 in the next couple of months, and really excited by the progress that we've made in such a short time, and I think it comes down to the team that we've built here, and a small team of really great people who've had some really great experience in this area, and really excited to where we are in the market after just a short period of time. And as I said, there's still, the year's not over, still a couple more to go, which we're excited about.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, and let's move on to I'll start with you, Sean. A company that develops wave pools. You have Wavegarden facilities throughout the world. Why go into developing an AI video capture system? Like, aren't you busy enough making waves?
As I said previously, I think it started out with us wanting to have eyes on our machine. But having said that, we very quickly started to, see the benefit that it can bring in terms of both on the operations side of things, but also in terms of customers and the revenue potential for the surf park operators themselves. So that, we were driven by, improving the wave making machine, and we're always innovating on that side of things. But then the sort of, the jump into looking at machine learning and computer vision work to help deliver other Check My Surf systems sort of came as a natural side. I mean, we now have almost 90 staff within Wavegarden, so there's a lot of brain power within the organization. And for the last 3.5, 4 years, we've been working and developing the system, and it just seemed to be a natural product extension to be able to offer to our partners, because we've all seen that we do like to, get videos of ourselves, photos of ourselves, from the surf session, and trying to learn and improve that. And we first installed it in our, we have a full-scale demo facility that you've been to, Brian, and we, first installed the camera system there. And what we would do is we would put a sort of 20 or 30 second delay on the big screen next to it. So whenever we had people coming and surf, as they're paddling back out after catching that wave, on the big screen, they'll be able to just see the wave that they've just taken. And that became very obvious that people were going, oh, okay, I see what I'm doing there, and take off. And it suddenly became something that our users at the demo facility are going, well, this is great. We have to have this. When can we put it into a commercial installation? Because it's really helpful to have that. And then we had coaches coming. We had the coach of the French surf team, the US surf team, the Japan first team, the German surf team, the Scottish surf team. All of these coaches were coming to our demo facility, bringing their teams, and then using the sort of the early versions of Check My Surf to actually, hold good coaching surf sessions with their teams at our demo facility. So we were like, okay, we have to now put more effort into this and make it and deliver it. And now we've started to deliver it into some of our commercial facilities itself.
Okay, excellent. And Ross, why Surfline, a company that is so successful with beach cams? Why have you decided to shift your focus inland to wave pools?
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that is really who we are as a company, right? We started as a forecasting company. Increasingly, we are where your surfing life lives. So whether you're surfing in the ocean or you're surfing in a wave pool, where people are having a surfing experience, Surfline wants to be there. So kind of fundamentally, it's central to who we are and who we want to be. More sort of objectively, we have the Surfline Sessions product, as I mentioned, and we see a lot of people using that in wave pools and in certain pools where we've had cams getting clips of themselves using that. And we think we have a lot to offer in the market. We think that between the high frequency of our engagement and how engaged our users are, the fact that they turn to us for when and where to go surfing, and the fact that they turn to us for relive experiences, we don't think that's any different in the wave pool environment. So we think we got a lot to offer, and we're seeing some good success in early trials, and so just eager to get all the way there with our product. But I think we've got a good kind of early product that's successful, not in the ocean but the pool, and pretty fast follow to get the last couple components. So we're just excited about what that means for us and our place in the market, our place for both pool and park operators, but also, of course, for surfers and what they're looking for. I think we see, ultimately, we see Surfline as the sort of enthusiast social container for the surfing experience. And we think that our engagement rate and the fact that surfers use Surfline so ubiquitously portends well for that for us. And video is kind of the atomic unit of that experience. And we see it, you see it in kind of broad social, whether that's on Instagram or wherever, but you also, I think, will increasingly see it in the surfing space. So it's just a natural place for us to be. We think we have a lot to offer to the operators and to the users. It's just a place for us to be.
Great. Thank you for that. And let's move on to Luke Wallace and the Flowstate system. I know your background and the engineers that you worked with. You have a history with Chris and Mike, who helped develop the system through AI and machine learning. Share with us why wave pools, why develop this product for wave pools?
Yeah, well,
because it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. There's a lot that happens between the camera and the cloud. This board was born out of my own, frustration / identifying the opportunity of surfing in the wave pool week in, week out. And like a lot of pools, they often start with having a photographers, but human photographers, they just can't capture every wave, and they miss your good one, and they're not there on the cold, rainy days. So, but also videography, that is the key to progression. I grew up being coached and having a coach every week and being filmed and going back and watching that film. And, that is, what you felt, what did that look like, and being able to compare those two. So a combination of, the enjoyment of being able to see yourself surf, being able to coach yourself surfing was really the catalyst of spurring this on. And when I started to film myself, I started having, a lineup of people coming to ask me for my film. How can I get a copy of that? So you could really see, the need for this. So we went about, creating this technology. And again, something that was, born in the pool. And I think, the way that we've gone about the technical elements and also the customer experience has been, unique, and obviously it's been well received to date. So it's, a combination of those things. And obviously, again, just being lucky, obviously Urban Surf Melbourne, one of the first wave pools, commercially operating on the edge of a major capital city. You could just start to see that this is the now for some of us, and this is the future, where a wave pool is now part of the general mix of your surfing. And for some people, it was more than just the general mix; it was everything. We all live such busy lives these days, so the ability to schedule a surf, the convenience factor of being able to surf in a wave pool, just is such a massive factor. So I think we started to, look into the future and look at the development plans of what was happening. Obviously, looking at the Wave Pool magazine planner to see what was being planned for around the world, and start to put a few numbers together. Go, I think this is a pretty cool opportunity, and if we can just do one thing and be the best at that one thing, and just really focus on that one thing, then maybe that maybe we can make something of this thing. And so that's sort of how it all began. And it sort of gained a lot of momentum, and we're have been doing nicely for the last couple of years.
Great. So you're sounds like you're up for the challenge, and the amount of work wasn't too daunting for you and the crew.
No. Well, again, this was just our background, right? We've been working in enterprise grade soft technology for a number of years, and quite frankly, I just had enough of being in big tech. The hierarchy and whatnot, and the ability to take that experience and do something for ourselves was felt like a great opportunity.
Cool, great. Thank you for that. And let's move on. The next question is, and we'll start with Sean again. How and where have you installed your AI video product? I know you've got Wavegarden locations all over. What, where can we go and use it now? And what have you discovered in this process?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously in our demo center is where we first introduced a number of the prototypes, and that's still there and working. And it's it's a really good additional product to have when we're bringing commercial visitors who are interested in potentially investing and developing in a Wavegarden, and we can show them when they come to our demo facility. And then the two commercial facilities where it's currently installed is at Alaya Bay, our project in Switzerland, and the Wave in Bristol. What we have discovered and what we're continuing to sort of innovate on is one of the challenges, to be honest, I think with this issue in terms of privacy and the object tracking and the biomechanics side of the business and the technology and so on. They're working absolutely perfectly. I think the challenge that we have, and I'll be interested to hear the other guys' thoughts on this, is about how are we ensuring that we are meeting all of the regulations in terms of privacy laws, both that are existing and those that might exist in the future. One of the challenges when we had in talking to some of our partners is that, for example, the Wave in Bristol, they were using a photographer before our system came on, and the photographer was basically, if somebody didn't want their video of them to be shown up on the screen afterwards or to be on a website that anybody can come and look at, they would put on a yellow jersey, and then the photographer would know that, okay, anybody with a yellow lycra should not be filmed. But then you have the challenge of, well, if we have a system that films everybody automatically, how do we separate out some people that don't want to be filmed from those that have said, yes, that they do want to be filmed? So it's our belief is that the only way that we can do that is by using facial recognition, so that when you go to the website afterwards, the only videos that you see and only you have access to are your own videos of you surfing. And I think that's where the challenge is of moving forward. So we've been developing the facial recognition technology, for the last 18 months. And we're getting better and better, so that even now people wearing hoodies, it's cold, it's wet, and we need to get that facial recognition. And I'd be interested to hear, other people's views on this, but there are certain countries where the idea of your video being accessible and anybody can go online and watch you having your surf session is just not going to be accepted. And so that's I think one of the greatest challenges of this moving forward, is that how do we really personalize it so that it's only you that get to see your video if that's the way that you've felt it. So that's the area that we're working on quite strongly now. We're continuing sort of to innovate with that. I'm very confident. We're all very confident that we're going to be able to move that forward. And then the exciting next step beyond that is adapting the wave to the individual. That we believe is the really long-term exciting opportunity associated, in addition to, of course, people getting their videos and the progression and the learning, but actually, because our system is linked to the machine, we could actually pick up and recognize that somebody has fallen on their takeoff twice and they're coming up for their third wave, and the machine will give them an easier takeoff automatically. Mm-hmm. So they give them a bit of confidence that they're now up on their feet and adapted in that way. So that's the direction that we're moving through, and that's the bit that we're very excited about.
Okay, great. And let's move on to Ross. And again, the question basically is, how and where have you installed this product, and what have you discovered during this process?
Yeah, so we've got cameras in the lineup at Waikiki, which is a standing wave, and then we've got cameras at Palm Springs Surf Club. Both of them are able to deliver our current rewind capture experience, and as I mentioned, continuing to build on that so that they can sell bespoke access to video. And then we recently partnered with Endless Surf to get kind of like on board with their customers going forward. So we're really excited about the pipeline that brings. And then we've got a number of other parks in the pipeline. So excited to build on the places where we are and where we're delivering both the product experience and also that kind of in-venue big screen video experience. What have we discovered? I think, the pure utility of just getting a video of yourself is fairly straightforward, right? I think we see this in a lot of environments. It's the roller coaster camera video or photo. It's not super unusual that's a value as a memento for people. I think the more interesting and perhaps harder piece to solve is this like social and community aspect, and the way that the video can be used to develop a community around a place. Luke mentioned surfing as a place-based experience, a community-based experience, and surf parks are no different. And as we build into that, what we call the Where My Surfing Life Lives experience, we think that we can help parks curate and develop that sense of community so that they can drive recurrence and re-engagement and get, for lack of a better term, butts in seats when, it's a cold winter day and there's only a couple of people that want to come out to ride the wave. So we're learning a lot about the social side of that through our sessions product and through kind of some of the discovery we're running around that. And we're really excited about what we're learning. I just think overall we feel really well positioned to execute not only in the near term, but over the long term. I think Surfline's we're a 35-year-old company, and we like to think about things in large year increments. And we think about where this is going in 5, 10, 15 years. These are large capital investments, holes in the ground that cost millions of dollars. And we think that we're well positioned to continue to deliver value here for a long time. So I think we're learning that in our interactions with the market as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then moving on to Luke and Flowstate. How and where have you installed this product, and what have been some of the learnings? I know your answer will be more lengthy. You have Flowstate in quite a few surf parks right now. So if you could just share with us where you have put the product, and then also what you discovered during the process.
Yeah, so we're currently operating in 5 pools in 3 countries and operating in most wave technology. We're at Urban Surf Melbourne and Sydney, which is on the Wavegarden technology, Waco Surf in Texas on Perfect Swell, Fireside in Dallas, City Waves, Standing Wave. We recently just launched O2 Surftown Munich on Endless Surf platform. And in the next couple of months, we're just about to launch at Rebel Surf in Phoenix, which will be both with the swell manufacturing and the unit surf standing wave. And excited to also preparing to launch at the new Surf Abu Dhabi with the Kelly Slater Wave Co. So we've got a really, great view across the entire wave making technology. And, some of those things that we have learned over that time is that, we have experimented with different models, with using a singular model, with using individual models. We absolutely now do use individual models for our tracking and identification. We apply them to the wave tech specifically. There's definitely sort of nuances between each different wave technology with what you want to track and what you don't want to track. So generally, yes, when we're launching a new pool, we'll start with a baseline model that's in line with that wave making technology. And yeah, we've learned plenty along the way between pool number 1 and pool number 5. As I mentioned, there's a lot of things that happen between the camera and the cloud, and we've done a lot of R&D with different types of cameras, obviously, which outputs the different types of quality, through to our AI technology, with our tracking models and our identification models in particular. It's a constantly evolving situation. I'm really excited about what we're working on at the moment, particularly starting to move into that coaching space and, what I would call just smarter data. A lot of our data labeling, our technology will soon know, identifying maneuvers. We've seen some really cool things at the moment where it's telling us, that was a cutback, that was a top turn, that was a barrel. So that, I see in the not too distant future, you'll come in from your session, hey, Flowstate, show me all the best barrels from today. And so, we've learned, quite a few things during this time. Sean touched on privacy. That is such a key factor for every wave pool. None more so than in Europe. Having just launched in Germany, that was quite the process that we've gone through to update our policy and processes and our product. Our product's now fully integrated into their booking system, and what that does is lock down any and all sessions from the public, so it's only accessible to people who were in those sessions in a pretty seamless way. So it identifies your email address that you've already booked into that session, and you can go and grab those sessions. But yeah, privacy is such a key point for everyone around the world at the moment. And especially when we're in, these big high-end pools, a lot of these are going to private members clubs. We've got some, special people, VIPs, data and security and privacy is, of utmost importance. But we're constantly looking and optimizing our whole solution. And as I said, we're really excited. Actually, we've just this week launching our coaching product. It's fully integrated into the solution, so that coaches are able to start leaving feedback, annotating, doing side-by-side comparison on waves, within 2 minutes after that wave was completed, which is great for that in-pool coaching experience, and then soon to be, remote coaching experience as well. So ultimately, I think that we're, between ourselves, the technology and the wave pool operators, having a really common goal is to help people surf better, faster. Surfing is a hard sport, and if you're not getting enjoyment out of it quickly, you might not come back. And we obviously have, having filmed something like 4 million waves with a couple of 100,000 surfers over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of things that happen in the pool, particularly at that beginner to intermediate level. We operate in very different markets around the world. Something like Sydney, which is, I would call, a core surf market. You've got a large surfing population of millions of people that are within and under an hour's drive of that one pool, versus other pools that are, in inland areas where you don't necessarily have that core surf market. It doesn't matter what's happening in the ocean that day because there is no ocean anywhere near there. But what we have seen is that surf culture is alive and well in all corners of the globe. And whether or not you have a beach within a short drive to go down and surf, There's people, love surfing, they love the feeling of surfing, which is why we're all here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you there, Luke, and we'll go into there's so much to talk about this subject, and then answering the question. There's a lot there. So both Sean and Luke, you've hit on privacy, and now I'd like to hear from Ross regarding privacy. I'm sure with Surfline cams at the beaches, you run into privacy issues. How within the pool are you dealing with that with your system? How do you address privacy?
I think it's probably not a subject I'm going to say a ton about. I'll tell you that the beach is very different than a private wave pool environment from a policy and legal perspective. And then country to country, state to state is also very different, both in the United States and outside of it. Our approach is definitely technological in the places where it needs to be with regard to identifying people who want to opt out. And then, compliance in terms of opt-ins when people check in and the information that they need to consent to upon entering. And then, consent within the product and the platform itself. So kind of leave it at that. I think it's not too dissimilar from what's been described from the other fellows, but I just rather leave some details out.
Totally understandable. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is move on to how an AI video system enhances the customer experience. You've all hit on that. Luke hit on that with and you too, Ross, with how people want images of themselves surfing, and that's a special moment, and everyone wants to share that. Within wave pools, the customer experience, someone has a good experience, they're going to come back to the wave pool, they're going to support that surf park more frequently. What have you found with your systems and how that enhances the customer experience? And Sean, we'll start with you.
Okay, sure. Well, at the most basic level, because our system's connected to the machine, we therefore give live information on the surf session that's happening at that time on the big screen. So when you're in the water, you can see, well, the type of wave that's about to come, the number of waves that are remaining in the set, the countdown, do to the next wave, and so on. So that's fun and interesting, and takes a little bit of the pressure off the coaches or the guides that are there, because people are asking those questions all the time during the middle of the session. Are we changing on to the next wave soon? When's that happening? How many waves left in this set? Do I paddle back fast because I might be able to get the last wave of the first set, and so on. Then obviously there are the instant replays while in the lagoon itself. So I mentioned earlier that we might put a 20-30 second delay on it, so that as you're paddling back out, you're watching yourself catching the wave, and then on the next wave you can go, okay, I might adjust my takeoff, or I might try and do something else. So that's important. Then of course there's the obvious of viewing the videos after the session yourself and sharing them with your friends and your family, viewing those videos with a coach, and with biomechanics analysis and so on, and comparing how you've done a cutback with maybe a pro that has done a cutback on exactly the same wave, and you overlap the two movements and that. And then eventually in the future, I think it's going to be providing that personalized experience, to adjust the waves to each individual over time. But there are more than just the surfers. There's the spectators. And I think that's where we're going to see fun. With live information again, spectators are going to know what surf session is on right now, what waves are coming through, and, et cetera. But also they can view what's happening maybe in the lagoon directly from the big screens in the restaurant. And maybe you delay it so that the group that have just come out, the videos are then put up while they're in the restaurant, so they can rewatch and have a laugh with their friends and so on. So I think, we have to think about the spectators as well as the surfers. But yeah, it's certainly adding significant value. I think that it is people want to. I don't like watching myself on the video, because I think when most people, when you think you've surfed well, and you watch the video and you go, oh my God, that was terrible. But maybe you can grab a nice little photo of yourself during that wave that makes you look good. But I think getting that instant feedback is something that's really helpful. And I think what we're seeing is very strong customer sort of feedback on it, as Luke and Ross will know. People want these videos, they want to share them, and it's something that people want to share their motivation, their excitement. And I think the more that they do that, more people will go, oh, that looks like a good surf park. I'd like to go and visit there. I've seen this guy, and he's sharing a lot of his videos. I must go and try it out.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And we'll move over to Ross. So what have you found? Because you have two working models, one being the ocean and then one being the lineup at Waikai. So two very different surfing environments. What have you found as far as AI video enhancing the customer experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the good news is that I think there's a lot of consensus in the room on the value prop. But I'll just go real quick to restate that, video is the atomic unit of sort of social currency today. And so if you want to enter into the social media landscape, be that on Surfline or off Surfline, videos, it's key. It's that foundational layer. Gives you, as a surfer, both street cred and a way to remember a memento or a souvenir of your experience. Within venue, the big screen is important, as Sean mentions. We think that that's key to enhancing that in-venue experience and dwell time. I think beyond that, the competition aspect, so it's actually something that hasn't been talked a lot about, but I believe both Wavegarden and Flowstate have this in mind, which is the ability to have virtual competitions and challenge one another and challenge people and create enthusiasm and moment around a particular venue. We think that's really encouraging and interesting. We purchased a company called ClipRow from Live Heats a little over a year ago, which specializes in doing that. And so we're eager to get that back in the market and get that going. And then, coaching, progression, video is the best base layer for that. Whether that happens through, there's myriad coaching platforms. So video can be entered into there, and a lot of the best surf coaches in the world are using that. So we think it's super important for enhancing the customer experience there. And then, I think unique to Surfline is just the opportunity to leverage this larger community ecosystem through video. So we think that wave pool video combined with ocean video creates that community nexus on Surfline, where you can have a playlist of the best tubes or the best barrels or the best airs from urban surf right alongside the best tubed airs and barrels from lower trestles, and can compete and be a part of the global surfing community rather than just a wave pool specific surfing community. So we think that at AI video on Surfline will do just that. So we're excited about that part too.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And let's move on to Luke. You've had your system installed in quite a few locations for a while now. What have you found about how Flowstate helps the customer experience?
Well, look, one of the most positive messages we get from people is just saying, I'm surfing the best I've ever surfed in my life. And this is generally from a lot of middle-aged people who haven't surfed so much in the last couple of years. That's always really pleasing to hear. Obviously, a combination of reps in the pool combined with, video analysis is really helping people surf better. And so to say, feeling new feels of that sensation. But we've also then, really, leading into our platform of, some of those other features around gamification that's been touched on. And, we have that feature on there at the moment, even on our wave catching gamification and our weekly leaderboards, our all-time leaderboards. Those sorts of features are, again, getting people to surf more. And we hear this frequently is like, oh, I've dropped out of the top 10 this week. I need to go for another surf. And again, when they're able to see themselves doing new things and then competing against their friends, again, with our social network sort of functionality, you can be following your friends and you're following your people of interest, and you see when they've gone for a surf and they've got some good ones, and you can obviously tell your friends, not just tell your friends about that barrel that you got, but you can show them. And, the chat groups start to light up. And again, sort of touching on that food and beverage area. Obviously, you've just gone maybe for a surf with some friends, and being able to relive that experience. That feature we have of our replay mode has been a big success for our partners who are using that in their F&B areas, where everyone's going for a surf, going back and watching the session back. And I was in Urban Surf Sydney the other day, and geez, it felt like walking into a pub with a football match on. It was electric in there. There was a big team of people all watching there, hooting and hollering and cheering each other on. And what that really means is, well, obviously they're having a great time and backslapping and having a good time. But they're staying there in those areas longer. That food and beverage spend, that average order value is going up. They went for one drink, they stayed for two, they got the burger and chips. And just really enhancing that overall experience that's both in and out of the water, so that they can then take that home and watch it again. And you can see that in our public facing stats on the platform of how often people are surfing. And people are surfing up to 10 times a week and getting their videos 10 times a week. And you can just sort of see that flywheel effect of, surf, watch, learn, repeat. And that's what we really tried to do with, our partners in the wave pool space of, basically, driving, repeat bookings, driving capacity, and trying to ensure that everyone's, having the best possible time they can.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Luke. And now we're running out of time. I want to get to our final question, which is, you all wouldn't be here doing this unless it helped generate revenue for surf parks. And so by extension, there was a need for surf parks to utilize your system. Sean, let's start with you. How does your system help generate revenue for the surf park?
I think they're the obvious one. There's the direct sales revenue from the video packages themselves, and we're seeing partners that can offer these videos as part of special ticket bundles and so on, wrap them up within memberships, discounts associated with that, potential to sell coaching with the video analysis. And then I do think that there's strong potential to drive that repeat visitation by, people analyzing their videos and recommending which surf session they could try next. For example, if you sat down with someone and they said, okay, you've done really well now on the Malibu 2 session, I think you're ready to go to Malibu 4, and maybe even try turn 1 session. And as Luke was saying, the idea of, friends egging each other on with the videos and, almost competing with each other based on, analyzing the videos. I think that's great. In our case, there's certainly sponsored content opportunities, so that you include the sponsors' logos on advertising revenue on the big screens, on the replay screens. And it's also possible to put ads, between the surf sessions on those screens. And then obviously, the social media posts and videos will help attract those new visitors. And I think it'll be interesting to see, as you know now, Wavegarden has been hosting a number of WSL events, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that moving forward as we deliver more facilities. We've got with Edinburgh opening in a couple of weeks, we'll have 9 facilities open. At the end of next year, we'll probably have 15 open. So with that, we'll start seeing tours, I think, and more events. And it'd be interesting to see how the Check My Surf system feeds into that, into the judging, into the broadcasting, and how we link through to there. So there's a lot of exciting, perhaps, revenue opportunities we haven't even identified yet. And I think that's why we're all doing this. I think there's a lot of further innovation to be had, and these opportunities will come up, some that we possibly even can't see now. But certainly there's lots of opportunities out there. And I hope that we're at the tipping point now, in that there are going to be a lot of new surf parks coming up around the world, and the market is big enough for 3 companies, I'm sure, to be in this space. And yeah, we're looking forward to, delivering a lot more projects, hand in hand with delivering a lot more facilities.
Great. Thank you for that, Sean. And then Ross, same question to you. How do you see this generating revenue for Surfpark?
Yeah, I can help make up a little bit of time because Sean covered a lot of it. Video purchase, coaching, training, dwell time, competition itself can be its own revenue source. People entering competitions and buying passes along with their entry. And that's all within our kind of slate of product development. I think the thing I would add that's unique to Surfline is the ability to a discovery, right? So as pools proliferate around the world, and people are wondering which one they should go to, what's near them, Surfline is a place that most surfers go 20 days a month, often multiple times per day. So we just think that that's a incredibly ripe and fertile ground for discovery and video. And the video captured in pools and parks is a way to surface that in front of our users. And yeah, I think the community aspect and increasing a sense of community and recurrence amongst users as well will drive revenue, particularly on as cold winter mornings when they might have trouble getting the more passive summer crowd in there. Yeah, and again, Surfline's a great tool for discovery for that through the video that we create.
Great. Thank you, Ross. And Luke, let's move on to you. What have you found through the implementation of Flowstate at all the surf parks where your system is in place? What have you found with wave pool operators that they have told you, like, this is a revenue generator? How does that work? How did the two go hand in hand?
Yeah, well, look, obviously they're touching on some of the same themes, right? Obviously, the sale of content is the most direct and measurable element of this. We released earlier this year our AI photography product, which has been well received. So we can now sell both videos and AI photos. What we're seeing is, though, the bundle pack and combining those two has been our number one product and converting really well, which has ultimately resulted in about a 16% increase in sales. We've also just actually about to release some new features. Our pro photography. Whilst AI is here and we're automating a lot of things. The need and want for professional photography is very much still there, and we really want to still support those photographers who really spend the time and effort on their craft and working the angles and working the lighting, so that we can still help that side of the business flourish. So I'm excited to launch that in the next week or so. As I mentioned, the coaching aspect is such a key aspect as well, and helping people surf better, faster, and getting more enjoyment out of that. So again, our coaching product that's just been released this week, we're really excited to get that out into the wilderness. Again, as I mentioned before, that food and beverage areas, that's such a key piece of real estate within each wave pool. It is that key congregation area where people are hanging out before and after their surfs. So really being able to just maximize that experience with the replay modes is just really, again, just enhancing that overall experience, so that it's not just that 1 hour surf. You're really getting a lot of value out of that whole experience that you've had during that day. And again, it's all about trying to get you to come back again. And when we see the wave pools going into, as I like to say, like weird and wonderful areas where you would not have thought you were going to go surfing, we are appealing to a very new surfing audience in a lot of these places. And so it's trying to ensure that we can again, make sure that they are enjoying this, getting better and progressing faster, and that surfing is now becoming part of their weekly health and wellness regime, and doing that on a weekly basis. And yeah, we're seeing sort of similar but different patterns in across all around the world. And again, yeah, having that oversight across so many different wave making technologies in different corners of the globe, helps influence our product roadmap and our technology and how we approach those. Which again, yeah, we're really excited of how that's been progressing over the last couple of years.
Okay, great. So much to talk about on this subject, and 3 very, very knowledgeable guests on this subject. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we cut out, I'd like to offer the opportunity. Did we miss anything that you wanted to add before we stop?
All I say is bring on more barrels, because barrel sessions convert like no others. We see up to like 80% conversion in barrel sessions. So if pool operators want to run barrels all day, every day, that would be
for sure. Yeah, we're getting the same feedback. We're now developing. Yeah, we're developing a lot. Greater number of range within our wave menu for more different types of barrels that, a slabby takeoff with a barrel for the full length of the wave, turn wave with a barrel end section, barrels in the middle, deeper barrels, faster barrels, all of that. It's all there, and it's all possible. So you'll be seeing more of that, Luke. That will keep you happy.
All right. So more barrels, more people are purchasing their sessions, and that's great. Thank you for joining us, Ross. Appreciate it very much. Excited to see what Surfline has. Sean, thank you for joining us, sharing your knowledge. And Luke, thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thanks everybody. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you. Bye.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.